Hold up.
They say every day's a new day. Live it like your last day. It's okay to feel great. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're all jumping on a new wave. Time goes by, but I'll stay stuck up in my old ways. So hard to unlearn habits we got addicted to. I'm trying to change my life, but so much easier to say than do. Oh, please help me. Please go easy on me. I can't believe it's so hard for me to see that I deserve this. Deserve to feel happy now. So please go easy. Please go easy on me. Go easy on me. Go easy on me. Easy on me. Don't give me a hard time, just let me live my life in peace. My life in peace. Been broken a long time, don't remember the highlights of me. Highlights of me. Oh, please help me. Please go easy on me. I can't believe it's so hard for me to see that I deserve this. Deserve to feel happy now. So please go easy. Please go easy. So hard to unlearn habits we got addicted to. I'm trying to change my life, but so much easier to say than do. Say than do. So go easy.
I'm ready, Cody. All right, I think we can bring people on stage then. Oh, really? All right. If you're in the backstage, oh, I think they can hear me. I'm just more quiet for them as well. Yeah, I think you guys just got to click to move over. There we go. Okay, it is working. And then those in the audience, you'll have to click to go backstage first, and then you'll see the button to go onto the main stage. You can mute yourself though.
The stage is full. Uh-oh. Can we not only have a set amount of people on stage?
I'll go to the crowd.
Here's a fun thing that I guess we just learned. Can an office meeting handle it?
It should do. I think the
Why
office.
does everybody have to be on stage? I mean,
Yeah, we can just have people in backstage, and whoever's talking is up on stage.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was thinking. And then they can come to the mic whenever they want to say something.
Yeah, yeah. All
Or
right.
they can
Well,
be in the audience.
I'm gonna go backstage and let you guys. Oh no, okay, backstage is full. Never mind. I'll just sit there.
Wonderful.
Okay. So we can get started, right?
I believe so.
Okay. Welcome everyone, and thank you, thank you for your patience while we get set up here. If you have, okay, so if they're backstage, if anyone wants to raise their hands or has questions, how do they do that, Cody? If they're backstage, can they still access the mic?
yeah, if you want to speak, you just come to the stage and we'll address
Okay.
it.
Okay, cool. So if you want to speak, there's no raise hand function. So just like click to stage and we'll call on you on the order that you appear on stage. And if you have any questions, just put them in the chat and we'll figure it out as we go. So thanks for bearing with us. But we'll start. Welcome everyone to our Wednesday council meeting. We have a couple DD presentations lined up and some points of discussion. Wilder will also be bringing up some issues towards the end of the meeting, but we'll get started as always with you, Chris.
Well, hello everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for another weekly governance committee meeting. This is my highlight of the week because I get to see all my favorite people in Voy. So hello, thank you so much. I, as always, have to start off with reminding you all why we're here. Because when you're making decisions, when you're listening, when you're doing all of these things, you have to make sure what is the mission? What are we trying to accomplish? And the reminder that what we're trying to accomplish is we are not happy with the existing blockchains out there today. We are not happy with their economics. We're not happy with how the people that are adding and making the blockchains better don't actually own it. And we're unhappy about the user experience and also just the go-to-market in general. And that's why Voy is here. But on top of it, we want to actually build a blockchain that is decentralized, that is distributed from the start. Not something that is, eventually we'll get there. Let's try to actually build this blockchain how we want to see it. And this all starts with you. Reminder, the core team, we don't have voting power. We don't have the ability to decide who gets tokens, who doesn't, and it's all in the hands of the governance committee. So you have to make sure that you are thinking about the whole, because you are the representation of the whole community itself, because voice starts with you. So it's a lot of responsibility, and I really appreciate you all for stepping up and doing great work. But yeah, so that's about it. Remember, Voi. The reason why it was called Voi is because it means you all in Italian. So this is your chain. So here we go. Back to you, Shanti.
Okay, so it seems like it's quiet backstage, and so can we not just move everyone to the audience? Cody. Okay. So everyone move to the audience so that you can hear, and also the same mic function is there.
Okay. So you guys hear me now? So one other thing too is like I don't have the agenda up on me. Are we making the announcement that we made yesterday?
One
Again here.
second, yes. So Zyphoid, you can move to the audience because you'll be able to hear better.
Am I using the wrong mic? Am I?
Okay, cool.
I just moved him.
Do you hear me better?
Yes.
So Shanti, what I asked was, I don't have the agenda in front of me. I apologize. Do we have a section where we're going to talk about the big announcement of this week?
This is your section to talk about.
This is I can talk about it. Wonderful. So as always, we had our spaces yesterday, and I made a big announcement, and a lot of you weren't on the spaces. So if you missed it, you might not have heard. I'm assuming that you've not heard because I didn't hear a lot of congratulations and rah rah shish kumbah from all of you. And I'm just assuming that's because you didn't hear. So we have got our first round of investment. It's really big, really exciting, and who invested in us is actually almost I would say as exciting as getting the investment in the first place. And the two people, the two VCs, are Arrington and Sonic Boom. You might go, who is Sonic Boom? Well, Sonic Boom is backed by Steve Kokinos, who was the CEO of Outrun Inc. back in the day. So been working with both Arrington and Steve Kokinos for a long time. They were the first people I went to talk about investment because I knew they cared about the idea of and the mission of what Voi is doing. And they agreed. They agreed to actually get it kicked off and get going. So we're really, really happy to have them as part of the team and part of our progress going forward. So I meet with them quite regularly about planning and getting opportunity to make Voi great. So that's huge news. And there's a bunch of actually news that we went through yesterday. I recommend listening to that spaces so we don't do that all again. But yeah, I think we had a list of like 12 things that we dropped in the spaces yesterday. But that was the big one. You should know. You should get excited. Things are moving. And there's actually more news that we can't announce yet in the realm of investment. But we just know that it's a continuous process. So that's the one thing I want to make sure that you guys heard. So yay. Back to you, Shanti.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. Okay, so for the next announcement, it's about your participation reward. So a lot of people have received their full amounts, but many of you have not. And that's because either I don't have your wallet address or you didn't confirm receipt of that one single Voi testnet token. So if you would like to receive your period 1 participation rewards, please do DM me and let me know that what your wallet address is or whether or not you received that single testnet token. So that is it. And then now we're going to move on to DD. And first up, why don't we do the, IRL, why don't you come up and do the Discord faucet bot? I'm not sure like if you so you'll come up stage and click on the mic. There might be a share function to share your screen.
There's no clicking on the mic. You just choose and talk.
Hi.
Oh,
Hi,
okay.
everyone. I am just sharing these documents real quick. So there's the proposal. And then let me find the DD. Drop that in the chat for everyone who wants to follow along. Can you hear me okay? Yes. Okay. The audio is really different between the 3 different places. So I wasn't sure how I was coming through. So I completed the due diligence review for the Reserve for Discord Faucet bot proposal. Cody originally submitted it, a member of the foundation team, and initially the proposal I think was 50,000 testnet tokens. That number has been increased. It is now 1 million testnet tokens with any excess returned. When Cody and I sat down, and we were actually graced with more members of the foundation than I had planned in that meeting. So thanks for popping in, Benny, Chris, Gov, Shanti, and nobody told you, so it's not your fault. They just like showed up randomly on an early Sunday morning when Cody and I were meeting. But I didn't really grasp why we were topping it up to begin with. I was like, why are we giving people Void? Like run a node and then you'll have Void. So the key takeaway for me in layman's terms for the non-technical users is that we can't wait for the very small percentage of a chance if you only have, let's say, 1 testnet void for that to happen organically, right? We have to level the playing field so that we can collect and monitor node health data. So, you can set up to run a node, but if you're not actually like voting and, your stake isn't enough to be selected, I think they were shooting for maybe 5 times a week at minimum, that health data is not available. And that's like critical for hammering out details in testnet. So that was kind of my first non-technical takeaway. The second non-technical takeaway that probably goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyways, is that this is a testnet specific proposal. There's no plans to implement anything like this on mainnet. So the current token quantity is 1 million with any excess returned. During my sit down with Cody, we reviewed all of the council's prior comments in the first round of evaluation. And a lot of people kind of echoed similar feelings to like, well, is this going to be enough, right? Because that minimum stake required to participate is growing every week, right? So we increased the amount partly due to the fact that I didn't want to revisit this. And partly due to the fact that other people were worried about that. They wanted to see the math. So we also included the math. If you scroll down on the DD document, there is a link that Benny provided me with that shows the work and the progress of what the minimum stake has been the last several weeks and how it has increased if you'd like to see that additional data. I think overall, some takeaways for me that really, like I said, solidified my support of this proposal was understanding why we were doing it, right? We need that health data. They need to participate in order for us to see the health of the nodes. And secondly, that the foundation felt so strongly that up until this point, they have been giving their own tokens for this faucet bot to work effectively. So to me, that speaks volumes. I'm happy with the proposal in its current state. I think it's a win-win all around. I think we've pretty much addressed all of the concerns that were asked and people that were looking for specific calculations that's now available. But definitely I'm willing to take any additional questions. I think it goes without saying that I am recommending and endorsing this proposal to pass. And it's currently ready for a vote. Questions?
If you have any questions, you can come up to stage.
You can come to stage, or you can just hit the microphone in the audience if you want to address the panel.
That's right.
We can't hear the audience though, can we?
If they go to the microphone, we can't.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. I don't think there's any questions.
So-
Thank you in
someone-
advance for the support on it. Let me know if you do have any follow-up questions before you go to vote, but as far as whoever's changing that status, it's ready to go.
Someone should test out that mic just to make sure that it works, everything. So, you have any
Hi.
questions? All right.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Sweet. I'm gonna go back.
Perfect.
Thanks, IRL.
Thanks, IRL.
Okay, next we have Ost, and he'll be doing a review of the virtual hack.
How's it going?
Going well.
Okay, so here is link to the proposal in chat. And link to the due diligence document. And I think I'm going to try to share my screen as well. Give that a whirl. Okie doke. So I'm doing the due diligence for the virtual hackathon. I'm just going to go over this quickly since you guys all voted to bring it to this point. But basically, this is run by the core team, the foundation they want, and it's spearheaded by Benny. And what they want to do is run a hackathon and try to get people to build out and complete some of the open bounties. So something that's neat about this proposal is that they want to incentivize people to participate. So usually in hackathons, you don't get anything unless you're the winner. But in this proposal, they're saying, hey, if you even participate, you're going to get some VIA. And so the way it works out with the token quantity, at first it was a little bit confusing, but the proposal has been updated to be a little more specific here. So up to 50 people can participate in the hackathon. And as long as you participate, you can get up to 100,000 VIA. And then, so that makes it so that there's like 5 million VIA total to be distributed to all the participants. If there's any left over, it just gets returned back. And then there's 10 million VIA that would be split amongst the winners of the hackathon. And so the first prize would be 5 million, and then second is 3 million, and third is 2 million. And the way all that is determined is by some judges. So they are looking for volunteers from the community to have at least 3 judges, and with the requirement that there has to be an odd number of judges. And they have this criteria that they can judge by. And basically, it's up to the judges to determine if someone has participated enough to earn the 100,000 VIA, and after all the scoring and stuff, determines who wins the prize pool. So this is just a one-time thing. So just to help get things moving along in testnet, they didn't say, but I would assume if it's successful, maybe they'd want to do it again. But for now, they just said they want to try this one-time thing. And some concerns and risks they had is they want to make sure that enough participants are there. So what they want to do is they want to send out a survey to find out when a good time is. The hackathon would be across 2 to 3 days, so people can come in, hit it hard, and try to get some stuff done. And another thing to note about the rewards is, so the emphasis for this proposal is to try to get some of the open bounties done. But these rewards are in addition to if you complete a bounty. So it's kind of just like an extra kick to get people going. So they have some concerns and risk here. Yeah, maybe I'll just go through them real quick. So the first one was they're going to conduct a survey to try to find the best time to do it. The next one is having enough participants. So they were going to, I don't see it here, maybe it's somewhere else, but talking to Benny, they're planning on marketing this just on Discord and Twitter, and just kind of word of mouth is kind of how they want to get this out. I guess we kind of covered the judging a little bit, and that covers 3 and 4. Keeping participants engaged for the duration of the hackathon. They said that they'll make sure that they have regular checkpoints and are keeping people in. And with the judges having the ability to determine if someone's participated well enough, I think that kind of covers that as well. They're going to do some stuff in Discord so everyone can communicate around that. And then 7 we talked about. And then let's get to these other questions. So yeah, we talked about 10 to 15 million via total. These tokens are in addition to the bounty rewards. So someone could still come do the hackathon and do something that's not a bounty and still earn rewards. But yeah, I guess it's up to the people to do whatever they want. One thing that was added later was initially the proposal was just gonna let people win, but now it's a requirement that if you want to get any participation rewards, or if you want to win the prize, your project has to be open source to kind of push the open source ethos of Void.
Nice.
So that's been added to the proposal. So max number is 50. Discord, Twitter, marketing. Make sure you have at least three judges, odd number. And then mostly getting the judges as volunteers. Core team will fill if necessary. There's one criteria in the judging that's technical merit. It's just there for if one of the judges kind of has insight into that, they can use that. Otherwise, you can just kind of brush it aside. We were talking about maybe the rewards might be a little on the low side, but you know, if we think that each 1 hour meeting of the committee gets 500,000 via, and if you're doing like a 2-3 day hackathon and you're only going to get 100,000, but at the same time, usually in hackathons you don't get any participation rewards. So we just discussed that, and at the time now, the token amount is staying what's already in the proposal, but Benny is open to maybe increasing it if the council thinks you should throw a little more reward, or maybe the other option was reward more than the top 3 teams. So that's something for you guys to consider. And then again, the judges will have the final say on whether someone has worked enough to earn the participation rewards. So that's the due diligence for the hackathon. I think this is a great idea personally, to try to just get people in, and we have some open bounties that are important that need to get done. So if we can just incentivize people to come play. So personally, I will be voting yes on this one. And I guess, are there any other questions?
You'll also be participating, just to be clear.
Yeah. Yes, I'll be participating. It sounds fun. So
Yeah, like just so you guys know, you guys in the audience right now, Mariano and Jay and Shelly, you're participating too. I do have one question. Is this only for technical people? Can non-technical people, designers, those type of people, those other weirdos can participate as well?
I just seeing as I am here, I can probably answer that. Yeah, ultimately it is open to anyone. If they're part of a team, obviously if you're a designer on your own, not really going to help. But if you are part of a team that is contributing to a project and you guys do actually build something that's of value, then 100%. I will just add a little tiny bit of clarification. There is the possibility, hopefully we go over 50 participants. What it really meant was that the pot would be split between the number of participants. So there's the maximum of 100K, but it would be less if for whatever reason there's 51 participants, just to add a bit of clarity.
Okay, I don't think there's any more questions. Thank you, Ost. That was a great review. Okay, moving on to the next item on the agenda. So that is all we have for DD presentations. We do need a volunteer for one proposal that's moved on to the DD stage, and it's for Scotty's support services. So can we get a volunteer?
I'm happy to do that. If Scotty wants me to review it anyways.
Yeah, that sounds good, IRL. Okay. I'm gonna put your name down here. Okay. We have one evaluation that is up for completion, and it is for the token distribution script that Zarmian has put together. So take a few minutes after this meeting to go review the proposal and then fill that out. We don't have any proposals right now that are in the second round of evaluation. So we don't have anything right now that's towards the end of the proposal process. So that kind of summarizes our proposal review section. And now we're going to move to a member open floor. First, I want to check if we have any vice chair nominees to basically work with Wilder in helping to provide council leadership. And then I'll give it to you, Wilder, to bring up some issues that you want to discuss with the council. So I know last time we left it that if people wanted to kind of think of their schedules and the time commitment they had, has anyone done that? And do they think that they would be in a position to support Wilder? Or if you are like 80% sure but want to ask some questions, you can also come up and do that. It looks like Andrew is potentially interested. Okay. Hey, Wilder.
Awesome. Thank you, Andrew, for stepping up. And I'd like to say that it's all about putting the effort in that you can. And if at some point things get too busy, there's no harm in sort of stepping down and letting someone else who has more time to put in fill that role. I think it's definitely going to be nice to have another set of eyes, and appreciate it. And of course, anyone else who's interested, please also reach out to me between meetings if you'd like. I'd love to. I can explain what I've been doing and get you involved if you'd like as well. So, if I can go into what I wanted to talk about, I have four things. And first off is I looked over participation data. I reached out to the members who had the lowest participation. I identified three members: Stuart, Elgo 101, and Prim. I was able to talk to all three, or at least send messages to all three. Two got back to me. Both Stuart and Elgo 101 have stepped down from the council, so that brings our total to 15 members. And my conversation with Prim was more, he's active in our calls. I know he contributes, but he was having trouble finding the right times to vote, and I'm going to touch on that later. But I'm happy with the participation numbers that we're seeing for the 15 that we do have, and I think we're going to see a higher percentage participation. Yeah, 15 IRL. So that being said, I know it's 8 votes for quorum right now. If you were in Gov discussion, I talked about raising that. Since people have left and we do have this number, I'm not pushing that as sort of my first thing to do. I'd like to focus on tier-based proposals and other things as first acts. But what I wanted to remind people is votes don't stop when 8 people vote. Votes stop after the time elapses. So if people are concerned about 8 votes all being skewed in one way, everybody has the opportunity to vote. It's just when we reach that deadline, that's when it closes. So obviously we'll be discussing this, and if changes are going to be made, this is the second thing I wanted to talk about. How do we do structural changes to the council without going through a intensive process with first eval, second eval, and all those things? Not that they're not important, but we can move quicker and we can use less of the team's resources. This is on the same vein of tier-based proposals. What I'm suggesting, and I won't have anything to implement this meeting, but I would like to implement this for next meeting where I can do a presentation. I'll come up, I'll do a presentation on behalf of the council, so this can be myself and the vice chair will present the change that we want to make to the structure. We'll then have open comments, and any amendments that need to be made will be made, and then we'll have a vote, kind of like the second eval, where we're able to then see everybody comment, put their vote in, and see if we can have a change. I wouldn't be changing this from 50%. And I just while I'm on this topic, I wanted to answer IRL's question about the percent required to pass. I did have a discussion, or I'll explain my belief on 50% for yes to no. We right now with needing essentially 4 yeses, 4 yeses with 4 no's, something is going to pass. I would call that a controversial proposal. And with the proposals that we do have coming in our current volume, we've slowed down a little bit, and I didn't want to increase the burden of the council or the barrier for proposals to pass at this stage. I also talked with Lobo, who brought up a great point about why did I want to potentially increase the amount of participation needed versus the yes to no ratio. And I'm a strong believer that if you require more yeses than no, like let's say 2/3, it'll make people who vote no have extra strength in their no vote, if you will. And I think it will discourage people from voting no because they'll be concerned that they're going to throw that ratio off too much. That's my personal thought on this, but I'd love to discuss this more. I have a thread created in Gov discussion where we can go into this further and find some common ground here. Okay, awesome. The main things, the thing that I want to present next meeting is the tier-based proposals. It's been floating around for a while. TD brought it up. Shanti then converted it and made it the document that it is. A lot of people have been weighing in on this. And the big thing with the tier-based proposal is nothing changes at the highest tier. Tier 1 is essentially what we've been doing this whole time. We've been treating everything like it's tier 1. What the tier-based proposal does is it makes proposals that require less funds require less of our time to pass. So for me, the big thing for this is finding those numbers right now, and I think we have enough data from proposals that have passed to be able to assign values for ranges. What's like the tier 1, what's the tier 2, what's the tier 3. I've made suggestions on the document, but I'm suggesting 15 million for a tier 1. So for example, IRL's proposal today would be considered a tier 2, and the difference would be after the DD, she would be the one who would be voting, and it wouldn't come to a second, it wouldn't come to a second eval where everyone's voting. The DD person would be responsible in tier 2, and tier 1 is essentially we do an evaluation and we vote, but we have no DD associated for that. And I'm suggesting that's anything under 2 or 3 million tokens. So I put the link in the chat for tier-based proposals. And my thinking here is the more aggressive we can be within reason, the more efficient that we will operate. So that's why I'm pushing for higher ranges on the mid-tier and the high tier. Do people have questions? I've talked for a good bit here. Otherwise, I have one thing after this I'd like to talk about. Okay. So the final thing is.
So actually, one thing I do want to bring up is what I would like to see from that is not just flat percentages, but I mean flat numbers, but percentage based off of like token distribution just in general. Just the reason why I bring that up is that when we transition to mainnet, I would like to take a lot of this learning, and we won't be giving out as many tokens during mainnets, but like a percentage tier system rather than just a flat number would be good.
That makes sense to me. I think that's smart. I will say I have been looking at this primarily through a testnet lens, but I do understand that these structural changes,
the right move. Yeah.
These structural changes we do expect to have impact, and we're trying to define the best way to run this structure. So I'll definitely, this will be in the presentation. So next week you'll get to see all this, and there'll definitely be opportunity throughout the week to put your comments into that proposal, and we'll shape that and get that going next week. The final thing I wanted to talk about was Operation Holiday with Scotty. I had a call with Scotty where we were trying to find ways where we could improve participation and make it easier for everybody to be a committed member of the council. What we identified as the issue is proposals come in, and exactly 7 days afterwards they then start moving through the process, and this means that we have proposals at different stages at all different times of the week. What we're proposing, and there's more to this presentation, there's more to this idea than just standardizing the proposal window, but the main idea here is to have a sliding 7 to 13 day window for a proposal to come in, And what that will mean is we will have sort of days of the week that you can say, I need to be present. I need to check my email Wednesday and Saturday because I'm going to have evaluations in my inbox and these are my deadlines to hit. And I think finding a little bit of normalcy with that as well is going to open up people to feel comfortable taking a break, stepping away for 2 days, and not feel like you've failed the council. So right now, everything is based around sort of a 3 and 2 day system. The second eval being a 2 day window. One thing that Scotty and I talked about was the potential of changing the final evaluation from 2 days to 3 days to essentially allow anybody to have a 2 day break without being worried about missing something. Otherwise, we're not changing much here, and I would encourage everybody, if they haven't had a chance, on the spreadsheet. Scotty and Shanti have done an excellent job on the very last tab that's called task. It's after allocation tracker, but it's the way that tasks are currently going through the organization side for Scotty, as well as the timeline for us. So right there, I think it's pretty clear to see that this is going to give us a better opportunity for people like people who have a lot going on in their lives, all of us. It's going to give us an easier time to be involved and participate.
Thanks, Roger. So I do want to. So in this cheat sheet, it's actually it currently is actually 3 days. This top number in that one tab is not correct. It's 3 days in our guidelines. It's only if it's expedited. If it's an expedited proposal, is it 2 days? So it currently is 3 days already for the final evaluation. And I told Scotty today that I totally agree. I think having a set day when things go out would be helpful, but I also did communicate that 7 to 13 days is a huge amount of time to me to be doing a community review. And so, like, the complaints that sometimes that we get, or I'll get DMs or people on like our core team, is that like, where is their proposal in this process? It's just taking so long. And so though we know like where everything is, not everyone in the community knows where things are if they're not looking at this proposal tracker actively, or they might be disheartened by the longevity of our process. And so I encouraged him to just like see if there's a way to standardize it while not having like such a long period up front for community review. And I feel like there must be a solution if you just like look at the calendar and take a few minutes to figure it out, but that was my only concern.
On the note of using the council tracker and personal organization, Scotty put a message in the Gov discussion about creating personal filters. I find that very helpful when I'm looking at the general evaluation tracker, where I can organize by date submitted, or there's ways that you can chronologically organize and set up that tracker just for you. And I'll definitely, I don't know if I can link images in this chat, but I will link people, or I can post again the image that Scotty created for us that just shows you how you can make a personal filter, if that's going to help you out. Emails are still going to be happening, so there was mention of that we might be changing to something that's moving away from that. Right now, I think the emails have helped a lot of people out, so I don't want to change that.
Wilder, if you tap the plus button in the message link in the chat, there's an upload file feature.
Okay, nice. I will do that now. Bear with me here. I'm saving a copied image, so it might not be immediate. Does anybody have any comments on what was said there? I was hoping there might be some open discussion, or maybe a topic that other people would like to discuss openly. I know one thing that has been put on the back burner was the idea of changing the node runner rewards. And if we wanted to use an open floor now for that, I know that was a heated discussion.
I'd invite Lobo. Definitely, he had a strong opinion. Actually, you can use the mic, or you can come up on the stage. Up to you.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, we should talk about the node rewards. I kind of thought about it like it's not so important right now, since we can just raise all the amounts that were distributed. So we can just take a snapshot and say, okay, if you have 100K now and let's say we double know the node reward, then okay, we will send you another 100k. But we probably should do this before the other games start. So we have kind of a deadline depending on when, for example, the token challenge starts. Do we have any news when this will happen?
So how this works is that there's 3 stages to the incentivized testnet. Stage 1 is nodes. Stage 2 DeFi. Stage 3 NFT. Stage 1 we have goals. The goals of stage 1 is to get enough nodes to protect the network. Check. We're well above what our goal was there. The other goal is to actually have at least one very voice specific wallet that has ARC200 in it and it works really well, and of course it work on Algorand as well, but something that is built for Voi. A block explorer that works. We have a block explorer, but D13 is actually working on a custom one for this. So those 2 things are goals that we want to actually hit in this stage. There's other goals there's like goals to end stage 1 and goals to start stage 2. So I guess these 2 other things are for before we start stage 2 as well. We need a DEX, which is Humble is coming. It should be ready in the next, I believe by the end of November is what I was told, but we'll see. Soon, #soon. And then also the token war scripts to be able to actually distribute appropriately. Those 2 things need to be done before stage 2 starts. Once those things are done, it will still require a vote from you all to say, yes, we're ready for stage 2. So we're going to present the status of everything. The core team will say, here we are. These were our goals. I think we're ready for stage 2. Do you think we're ready for stage 2? And then you will vote. And then if the majority of you say yes, then we'll move to stage 2. But I would say that we are probably, maybe let's call it, I don't know, a month away max. Hopefully, knocking all the wood before we can actually move to stage 2. Which means if it's a month, that means we're 15 days behind schedule. But that's okay.
Yep. Wanted to say that, so we have essentially 2 weeks to come up with a new proposal if we want to change things. So then we can vote on it and get all the stuff done. Okay. I can work on it a bit, and so I mean, okay, there will be a simple solution probably, just raise it by 2x everything and all is good. But there were concerns about okay, we don't want to have this conversation in another month or so. So we'll also think about other options we can look for.
So who's going to do that proposal? Obviously, it has to go through a proposal. Is one of the committee members going to go put a proposal up, or do you guys want the core team to do it? What are your thoughts?
Does it matter? So at worst, I would have done it, honestly, because I brought it up. But Wider, if you want to say something about
I was just going to say I'm leaning towards the council members picking up things versus the core team. So that's a leaner core team if the council members are making proposals. So I'll try to do that, and Shanti does an excellent job making proposals, but I'll try to also, she can reach out to me and I can do proposals for the council's behalf.
What about Benny and myself?
Well, anyone in the core team. But I find Shanti's don't need as many changes, let's say, edits.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. I just something to think about actually on increasing node rewards. I don't know if we necessarily want to retroactively, double all the previous ones. I think the emphasis should more be on ensuring that those, basically as we go on, that the block rewards going forward don't dip too low, more so than anything.
Cool. Thank you, Lobo. I look forward to that proposal. I'm going to rip it apart. I think that same thing will probably happen with relay nodes. Now that we have one in place, we're going to open it back up and for our applications. And if we don't get a lot of applications, we might have to increase the rewards.
Thank you. Thanks, Wilder. Okay, so this is actually the end of the call today. Is there anything else that you want to discuss, Chris?
Yeah, I will actually, and sake of transparency.
Okay.
Over the night last night, the Void blockchain froze. I don't know if how many of you pay attention to that, but it did. And I'll let actually Benny explain why or how it happened. He's the one that did an amazing report this morning. But then I will chime in afterwards.
Sure. Yeah, it was an interesting way to wake up this morning. Pretty exciting. But yeah, so it kind of came down to the perfect storm and Murphy's Law more so than anything. There was a few different things that kind of all coincided at the same time to cause this to happen. So first of all, there are a number of different ballast accounts. So ultimately, 50% of the total live stake is distributed across these ballast nodes. There's actually the purpose of that really is just to reduce the sort of egress on the relays, which again is really more just of a resource constraint in terms of costs, because it's expensive to pay for egress at the end of the day. So what happened was that there's 3 bots, each of which is responsible for 4 different ballast accounts. And what would normally happen is every week when we distribute the sort of airdrop for running of nodes, we'll also top up the balanced. And it should be spread across these 3 different bots, which would then in turn distribute them across these 3 different balanced accounts. So ultimately they should all have about they should have 5% of the total live stake in every account. This didn't happen this week essentially, so they're all loaded into one bot and they remained there, which meant that the balanced accounts were kind of out of whack. So we had some which were really low at about 3 and some which were all the way up to about 6. And ultimately what this meant is that we kind of went from a scenario where worst case was if 5 nodes went down, that would trigger a freeze to happen. And it kind of shifted it to mean worst case scenario, if 4 went down, a freeze would occur. And that's pretty much what ended up happening. So with that, we kind of coupled with the fact that I think about maybe on the 13th, 2 nodes in Dallas and Miami went down. There are basically all these ballast nodes are also relay nodes, again, for resource constraint reasons. But what it meant was that these 2 nodes went offline. The provider Bloom basically disconnected them because they went over a certain cap. On its own would have been absolutely fine. But then between then and last night, essentially 2 other nodes went down in Nigeria and Hong Kong. These were more localized issues just due to the data centers themselves. There's actually some issue with the Hong Kong one when it comes to the network routing. But ultimately, they got disconnected from the network. And this meant that 4 ballast accounts were disconnected without registering offline, which in a normal situation would have been just on the very edge of being okay. But given the issue with the ballast adjustments meant that we'd actually gone to about 23% of the online stake not actually being online at all. Well, they were registered online, but they're not actually connected. So that's really kind of what happened, to be honest. There's this issue, or not really an issue, it's kind of a bit of a quirk across all AVM networks. Same thing could happen to Algorand as well, where if over 21% of the stake is taken or disconnected from the network, there's the possibility of the network to freeze. And it kind of meant that this was a little bit of a ticking time bomb over probably the last couple of days, where it could have occurred at any point in time. It just so happened to occur at around about midnight last night. And so this morning, thanks to members of the community as well and Eartho, we managed to get those nodes back online. Luda was also very instrumental in that, in just serving up a big old list of all the nodes that had voted, which made filtering out and finding the sort of I don't know what the right word is, but outstanding ballast nodes that didn't actually participate in the voting made it easier to identify them. And so with that, we brought them back online, and pretty much immediately the network resumed. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. There is obviously, as part of that report, a number of different steps that we can take to ensure this doesn't happen again. Ultimately, I think what's really going to happen is we're going to increase the number of ballast accounts, and obviously each ballast account will have a new node associated with it, to ensure that we, from now on, we actually go above this right now requirement of 5 going down, and probably increase it beyond that.
Thank you, Benny. To answer a few questions that popped up in there, did any of the accounts get slashed? I'm assuming that is a tongue-in-cheek question, but the answer to that is yes. They have 100% slashed before they even started. Ballast nodes receive no rewards or incentive, so they were slashed expecting that this would happen. So got them. But the good news is that we like Benny said, is like we have plans on how to prevent this happening going forward. Transparently, once again, this was a more of an eye-opening moment for me, where we relied on one person to wake up to be able to fix the situation. And we know why we got here, because we're doing this actually as with the community involved and everything. But one thing that we're going to do right away is make sure that there is no one person got hit by a bus type of situation going forward. And one of the things that we are actually doing to be very specific about it is that right now one person is in charge of the ballast nodes. Now what we're doing is that there will be multiple people in charge of the ballast nodes, where that's if any one person ends up being hit by the bus or going away, or their nodes go down, there's still enough of nodes to keep things going. But definitely, I put this as a failure on my part. This is a Chris failure, and I apologize for letting it get to this point. But this is why we're doing testing. This is why we're doing these things, and this allows us to learn. So that's one thing I want to talk about, just because, like I said, I really truly believe in transparency and no sweeping things under the rug when things don't go well. So I will accept my lashes now, or fruit, or whatever you want to throw up. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. But if anybody has any questions about it, please come up and address me directly. I'm good at this. If you've ever seen me in the past, I have thick skin. Give it to me.
I'll also just add to that this won't impact people's node running rewards either.
Yeah, that's there's no really impact from this other than it impacted me because I was working on ARC 200 last night, and my transactions weren't going through, and that's actually how I discovered this was happening. I was like, wait a second, my transactions aren't working. So Shelly and I were working on that. So yeah, and I think so. We have 7 minutes. I can give my final word if anybody wants to actually bring up anything. There's 2 people in the crowd. Go for it. First person.
So since we already have some infrastructure to be monitoring health, we should definitely be keeping an eye on the ballast nodes as well. I don't imagine that this happened all of a sudden. I just presume that nobody was looking at it, right?
You are correct.
Aside from that, yeah, the plan to reduce their stake sounds good.
Yeah, there is actually a public API, so anyone can go and see exactly what the stake is on the ballast nodes. So maybe, we can maybe get that implemented into one of the websites as well, just so we do have an extra pair of eyes.
Yeah. Eartho's already talked about setting up voter watches. So that's we know sooner.
Another thing, since you definitely will get that question, so you can talk about it now, and I already got it in the 50 minutes, the conversation here is live, about the investment. Personally, don't care about the money you got. The important thing for me would be like how much void they get. But in general, people will ask about that, so yeah, maybe you can just talk about it.
Yeah, so I would love to talk about it, but we can't yet. So because of regulation and everything, the way that we make these announcements, the way talk about these things more than what I have already said has to be very structured. So all the information will be released when and through the correct the correct means. But I can't really talk about much right now without potentially saying the wrong thing. So, yeah, sorry. I would love to. I was counseled not to talk about the specifics openly. But it's also the blockchain and everything's transparent. Let me. This is what I will tell you. I believe in transparency, as you guys all see, no matter what. And I promise you that I will do everything in my power to, number one, follow the regulation, but number two, deliver it in the appropriate way. Thank you for the question. It's a question that I would have as well, by the way. It's one of those things where like, don't you talk about this in the wrong way, Chris. All right. Try not to. Any other questions that want to bring any topics up that they are seeing any issues or anything of that sort? If not, I will do the closeout. Anything out, Shanti or anything?
No, nothing. Just a reminder again to send me your information so that you can get your first period of tokens. But
congrats everybody on getting the VIA. I mean, you guys have VIA now. That's great. Congratulations. Or the people that did confirm with Shanti. Everybody else, I think we wrote it on the rules that if you did not get back to Shanti, I get all of the VIA that you did not want. I guess I don't know what something similar. But anyway, I really want to appreciate everybody once again. I started that way, ended this way as well. Thank you so much for putting the effort in. I'm always going to ask more of you. This is who I am. Because where we are with Voy so far, I don't think people that actually, like, you guys might understand it, but people outside looking in, asking questions of like, oh, where are you now? And just a month and a half in, the amount of applications being built on top of it, the amount of nodes being run, the amount of community participating is out of this world. And it's because of you all. You all putting the actual effort in. I'm going to ask more for you. If you can develop, if you can do anything, do it. Put the effort in. Let's make this thing a reality. Let's not false start. Let's not just start strong and peter out. Let's actually start amping up. Let's start bringing in friends. We're moving. Tell your friends, hey, check it out. Don't tell them, token go to the moon or anything, because that's wrong. But be like, hey, we're building blockchain. It's going to change the world. You can help too. I mean, that's what I tell all my friends. People that don't know blockchain look at me really weird, but whatever. That's what I signed up for. So, but yeah, like if you have developer friends, if you have people that have friends that's in, creating content or just talking about things or just understanding why we're doing this, it's it's on us all. Because if we really truly want to see this happen, which we all have put in the effort to do so, let's do it right. I pledge to you, from the moment I opened my eyes till the moment I shut my eyes, I bleed Voy. So I'm going to ask you to as well for a little bit, maybe not that full time, but at least keep it in the back of your mind. But thank you so much for everybody. You are the best. And I can't wait to form the hackathon dream team to build the most amazing things. So thank you all.
thanks, Chris. Thank you, everyone. We'll be using this platform again next week, just for your information. But have an amazing rest of your day and week.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys. Have a great week.